All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's press conference for Thunder at Night, to be held at the York Hall on the 13th of June. We're really pleased that you all can make it. We can speak to some of our boxers tonight. It's going to be a great night of boxing. As usual, the Goodwin team just keeps putting these cards together. They just get better and better and better. Really looking forward to this. Our promoter for the evening, Miss Olivia Goodwin for Goodwin Main Events. I'm going to hand the mic over to her, and then we'll come back and talk to the boxers.
Hello, I'd like to welcome you all here to the Albury Park Hotel for my press conference, Thunder at Night, which is taking place on the 13th of June at York Hall. So, this show just proves that Goodwin Boxing is continually signing some of the country's youngest talent, and it's going to be great to see them all on field. We've also got Ashley Sexton on here, he's a former English champion as well. So, if we go from my right, we've got, sorry, I don't want to pronounce your name wrong. Robert Azagba. He's having his second fight on this show, and his debut was so impressive, so I cannot wait to see him again. We've then got Max Lovell. He's having his professional debut, so that would be brilliant. We've then got Jordan Joseph. Well, I've known Jordan for a long time, and he used to spar my brother, and so I've seen him from the amateur days, so watching his fights is a great thing for me as well, and last time he looked fantastic. Then we've got Dave Abraham. Well, I've just spent a week in Turkey with Dave, so I've got to know him really well, and it was great to see part of his training camp and watching him train and how hard and the determination he's got. Watching him run up one of the biggest mountains that nobody runs up, and he made it all the way to the top, and you know, he's a heavyweight, that's good going. We've then got Sahal Ahmed. He's having his 7th fight after a stoppage in his last one. He just seems to be getting better and better each time, so it's fantastic. And then we've got Ollie Pinnock. Well, he's trained by my colleague Kev Campion, so I'm always hearing about how his training's going, so it's fantastic to see him on fight night as well. And last but not least, we've got Matthew Chanda. No one can say he's ever in a boring fight. His style is amazing, so it's always exciting to watch him. So I'm going to pass you over to Steve, because he manages quite a few of the boxers on here, so he can tell you a little bit more about them.
Well, thanks a lot. It's a pleasure to be here once again. We've got 7 boxers on here. I manage 5 of them, but I'd also like to thank the other 2 managers, Ben and Louis, for bringing Max and Robert down today. It's really great to do that. We want to work with other managers as well, and it's great that they're working with us, and we thank Ben and Louis for that. Ben manages Robert at the end, who had a good debut when he fought Harjinder Gill. He's now fighting Dwayne Grimes. Dwayne's a tough character. He actually knocked out Floyd Moore, who I now manage, Southern Area Champion. So Dwayne's very dangerous. He's also susceptible to getting hit himself. So it's a good opportunity for Robert to show his quality, but Dwayne will be coming to win. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be a great fight. Max Lovell comes from around this area, and Max is having his debut. He's an exciting young talent, and we've been delighted to sign a promotional deal with Max, and we look forward to helping him reach the top. He's got a very shrewd manager looking after him, and we're delighted on going to work with both of them. Jordan Joseph, well, it's a personal thing. I've known his dad for 25, 30 years, his dad and mum, and I've seen Jordan as a baby growing up, so it's really great to see him now fighting on our shows and the Goodwin family shows. And Jordan's only young, and he had a tough debut when he fought Scott Douglas, and he won his first 2 rounds. And just basically blew out of steam in the last 2, but in his last fight, his fitness has improved, and he showed lots of skills. And if you watch Jordan, he's a lad with a lot of skills, and a light heavyweight at 19 years of age. He's years ahead of him, and we expect him to develop over the next 5 or 6 years. And I expect to see Jordan at British title level at some point. But it's important not to rush these young boxers, because they will peak. If they peak at 25, 26, that's where we want to be. We don't want to see them burnt out at 22, 23. The man mountain David Abraham, he achieved Mission Impossible in Turkey. We were told that a heavyweight of 19 stone would not be able to do a 6,600 metre hill run, the steepest mountain you'll ever see, I think. And Dave was one of 3 boxers that managed to get up that mountain. That shows you that when Dave goes into the trenches, that he will be one to, he's got the heart of a lion, and he's one to be feared, and I was really impressed with him at the camp in Turkey. Well, Sahal Ahmed has now put his name down for the next Turkey training camp. He's decided he wants to come. I think he sees what a great time and we all had out there, and a great camp that the boxers had. And it's something we do intend to develop and improve. It's absolutely phenomenal camp for everybody that went on it. And Dave also wants to go again, so it says ill, but I think Hal will be on the next one. Ollie Pinnock, 1 fight, 1 win, turning boxing at a later age in his 30s, but age is only a number, and Ollie will be moved forward, and we would hope that within 12 months Ollie will be competing for Southern Area title, because his style is capable of doing that. I thought Ollie's debut is very impressive. I always tell all boxers that on their debuts, they're never going to be the finished article. No matter how good they're going to perform, they'll probably only perform at 50% of it. But for a debut, I thought Ollie performed really well, and I'm looking forward to seeing him again. Matthew Chandler must have given us another heart attack. As you know, many of you know, I had a bit of a heart scare last year, and I think Matt nearly killed me off in his last performance when he was put down. I couldn't believe it, because I think Matt Chandler is one of the most exciting bantamweight, super bantamweights out there in the country. I think he's got all the skills and attributes to be a top fighter, and delivered right and managed right, I think he could be a top TV fighter in years to come. But we don't want any of those mishaps again. But I think it's something he'll learn from, and I think it's something he'll develop from, and I'm really, really sure Matt will be a force in the British division in the next 12, 18 months. So really, I've just sort of talked about the boxers. I'm probably talking too much, but I'll pass it back to Brett for the questions.
Thanks, Steve. Okay, I've read these questions. They're not too terrible this time. Usually I'm afraid to ask you guys some of these questions because I just, you know. So we're going to start here with Regal Robert Asaga. Robert, your last fight was really brilliant. Really enjoyed being there. We've got some good questions. Hector Anderson, he says, you're fighting my boy Dwayne in your next fight. You know he's going to have too much for you. Why would you take this fight?
I won the fight with Dwayne because I know he's going to come to try to win. In my first fight against Argent Gill, it was a good fight. I don't think he landed a single punch against me, but my mum always told me if someone hits you, you hit them back harder. So Dwayne is lucky enough to land that punch. That blessing of him landing the punch is going to end up in the curse.
Fair enough. And let's see, Ian Wells asks, how hard is it for you to sell tickets and train to fight?
You know, together, to begin with, it's difficult, but I always like a challenge, and I step up to the plate to meet any challenge.
I think that's probably true with all you guys, because we've got, you know, some young guys in their careers coming up, and you know, you start to sell tickets, get a bit of a following, bit of reputation, you start to sell more tickets, and you know, that's what it's all about. So, yeah, really, really good. Like I said, your last fight was brilliant. Really enjoyed that. Can't wait to see you this time out as well. So we only have one mic tonight, so I'm going to walk behind you guys, but just as I'm asking questions and you're answering, just answer to the camera. So next up, Max Lavelle. So Max Stewart says, I see you've been sparring Anthony Agogo for preparation for your first professional fight. How has this sparring been going?
It's a really good sparring. We went down to Ray Everett's gym, did 6 rounds of Anthony Agogo. It's a really competitive spar, and also been sparring with Billy Bird, Nathan Dale, who were both undefeated pros at that gym.
So when you're sparring these guys and it's your first fight coming up, what do you think that does for your mindset, getting ready for your first professional fight?
It's a really big confidence boost. Like they're all like 10-0, 17-0. So they're could be a lot more better than my first fight with my lady. So I'm really confident for it. It's hard to get this one.
Nice and close to the mic, Brett. Definitely nice and close to the mic.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Barry says, you're a former WBC kickboxing champion. Do you think you have what it takes to make the cross into professional boxing? And how does professional boxing, do you think, compare to kickboxing?
Yeah, I definitely think I'll be able to make the cross. I've been focusing on boxing 100% for about 2 years now, and had like a lot of white collar fights and that. Obviously, I've pushed myself.
And how does kickboxing compare to professional boxing, do you think?
Yeah, well, I think there's obviously like a lot more boxing and money in boxing, and yeah, it's a lot better future, and that's one of the main reasons I went over. The other reason is that I broke my ankle, so it took me out of kickboxing for quite a while.
Okay, thanks. Really looking forward to your fight as well. All right, next up we've got Jordan Joseph. So Jordan, Max Price says, I saw your second fight and you looked a completely different fighter from the first. What changed?
Well, my debut made me realise that I wasn't training hard enough, to be honest. So I stepped everything up. Harder sparring, more runs, training a lot more intense. So yeah, training harder.
And in your next fight, you're facing very experienced Ian Jackson. So are you worried about the experience that he has, and how are you going to prepare for that fight?
No, I'm not worried at all. I prepare for it the same way I prepare for any fight. I don't underestimate anyone, so still training as hard as I was for the last one.
Okay, great, thank you. Next up is Steve called it the Man Mountain, David Abraham. So Alexander says, I saw your pictures from Turkey on Facebook. It's fair to say that you do like to pose for the camera. You got any comments?
I can't believe that's my first question of the night. I like photos, just like everyone else, I suppose. I think the main thing you've got to realise with me is this is where I want to be, and I'm happy with what I'm doing. I spent 12 years as a lifeguard, and in that time I had a lot of thinking time, and all I thought about was being a boxer. So if I look happy with what I'm doing, it's because I love it.
And so far in your career, you're looking really good, you're doing some good things. How far do you think you're going to be able to go in this sport?
To be honest, I'm just thinking about June 13th. I think about one day at a time. You can't take anything for granted. And I know that's just how that's what works best for me. If I start thinking 2 years ahead, I'm not going to focus on my training tomorrow. So I just focus on today, getting through this press conference, focus on my training tomorrow, and we just go like that.
Great, thank you, David. Next up, the showstopper, Sohail Ahmad. Sohail, Vincent says the combined records of the guys that you've fought so far are 246 losses against only 33 wins. When are you going to fight somebody decent?
Okay. Next fight I'm fighting is a winning record. I fight anyone, I'm a fighter. This is what I do. I'm in entertainment business, you know what I mean? Whoever you put in front of me, I will beat. And, I put hard work, I dedicate my time, I live the life, I walk around at the way that I fight in. So for me, it's all about lifestyle, and it's all about, doing things at the right time and at the right pace. Being managed right and being the right people in front of me. Look, we're in no rush. We're here to make a career. I'm not one of those boys. One of those boxers that's gonna come into the game and step out. As soon as the heat hits them. I'm in this for the long term. So I will do whatever it takes to make sure that I step to that level or I get to that top level I want to be at the right time. So yeah, whenever the fight comes, I'll take it at the right time.
I mean, what a lot of people need to know is I'm obviously Sohail's manager, so I'm picking the opponents. It's not him that's choosing who he fights, which is fair, isn't it? I mean, I'll pick an opponent, I go to him. He's never turned down anybody I've offered. And in his next fight, he's fighting somebody who's just had 2 first-round knockout wins in his last 2 fights, and he's 2 wins, 1 loss. So he's stepping up next time and taking a dangerous fight. But he didn't have a lot of amateur experience, so we're learning as we're going. But he's improving massively with every fight under Rod Julian. And now we're taking a little step up next time. He's fighting somebody with a winning record. So sometimes I think, it's us that we're picking the fights for the boxers to develop them correctly. So yes, the guy he's been fighting people with losing records, but these are experienced people that are teaching him a lot. And now we're just making a step up every time. And he's doing really well. So.
A lot of people, listen, you can't ask a question like that. You don't know me, whoever this person is, right? Look, I've been boxing for 7 years in total. That's amateurs and professional, okay? I've had 15 amateur fights. 15. Only lost 2 or 113 fights. So the fact that I'm actually 6-0 and I've beaten guys, whoever's been put in front of me, right? It says a lot. I spar and I train people who had 100 fights, who had 50 fights, who had 60 fights, and I beat them. And they can't come near me. So before you make a question like that, you have all the right to ask whatever you want to do, but you should know who I am first and where I come from. Thank you.
All right, a good follow-up question here. You've stopped 2 of your last 3 opponents, so do you feel you're developing much more power now as your career progresses?
I've always had the power, so even from the amateur days. I've got a guy, Ozzy, sitting in the back, you know, and tell you, I was known for my right hand. But, you know, when you turn pro, it's just about, you know, taking it to that next level and, you know, finding your range and finding your shots and sitting on your work and not rushing in and stuff like that. You know, listen, every fight is a learning fight for me. I learn from every fight, whether it's a knockout, whether it's a stoppage, whatever it is, whether it's a point win. Everyone who's been put in front of me has been put in front of me for a reason, for me to learn from. I respect all my opponents and I will respect to do so in the future, because everyone that I fight has had more experience than me, has been in the game for longer than me. So it's just my time to learn and shine, that's all.
All right, thanks, Sahel. And so we'll go from the best dressed man in the room to the best mustache in the room. The ringmaster himself, Ollie Pinnock. Ollie, again, great last outing, really enjoyed your fight. Ben Park says, I saw your debut against Moyo. It was a very solid performance. Were you disappointed that you weren't able to stop him?
Disappointed, no. I mean, Becky Moyo, he's a tough guy. He's had a lot of fights. He's good at what he does, and what he does is he survives in there. He's got a great defence, a hard guard to break down. And to be honest, I wasn't looking for the stoppage as such. I wanted to, on my debut, to get the rounds in. So I tried to get 4 good rounds in, and I did. I won every round. If the stoppage would have come, then albeit. But like I said, Becky's a tough opponent. Knows what he's doing.
All right, and Lauren says you're 34 now in a very tough division. Do you think you've left a little bit too late to make an impact?
I get asked this a lot about the age thing. It's like I said before, it's different for everyone. Everyone matures differently, especially in boxing. You get guys that mature at 18. You get other boxers that mature much later. It's not like I've come to boxing late. I started boxing as a 12-year-old. I had over 30 amateur bouts. I took a little break to have a family. I was seated in the front row, and then I carried on. I was active all the way through that anyway. I boxed a lot of unlicensed fights. I was unbeaten with the unlicensed fights. So it's not like I've come to boxing late. I've just come into the professional game late, and you know, I'm ready to make a difference. I'm ready to do something. I'm not here to make up the numbers. I'm here to win. So.
Great, thanks, Ollie. And last but not least, Matthew Chanda. Again, good outing last time. I know you nearly gave Steve a heart attack, but we like to keep him on his toes anyway, don't we? So, Kerry says you got put down in your last fight. Has this happened a lot throughout your boxing career, including amateurs?
No, that was actually the first time I've ever been put down sparring or in the amateurs. Well, I think it was a learning curve. I'm used to taking to sparring and taking shots from well, not I go out there to take shots, but I take shots from people and like from what weight, what weight and upwards and stuff. So well, not upwards. I mean I take shots from I take shots from kids who are weights above me, and I feel fine. So I think maybe it did give me a false sense of security. But I wouldn't say this shot hurt me. I was sort of off balance and a square on as well. So yeah, and he did set a good trap. He set a good trap for me as well. So no, it's the first time I've been down.
Hopefully the last for a while.
Yeah.
All right, and Matthew says smaller guys tend to peak and have their best years early. You're 28 now. Do you feel that you've missed your window of opportunity?
No, I think I answered this question last time. I think, yeah, I'm 28, but my body's still young and stuff, and I eat well. I don't smoke, and I only drink around Christmas. So, so yeah, no, I don't think so.
All right, thank you. Any questions from the audience for any of our fighters?
If it's all right, can I ask Steve a question? I know you're not a boxer, but you'd like to ask you a question. I noticed you on social media the other day talking about putting boxers first, and I obviously mentioned about putting fans first, which is fantastic. One question I've got, you're obviously the first person to do this, and it's wondering, are you going to be the only one that does this? and you're going to be remembered for putting the boxers first, or do you think that could actually set a trend for promoters?
I think what I'm seeing that's happening, that's changing financially, is other promoters now are changing their deals more in line with what we're doing in terms of commission to boxers and things like that. So people that have been, I'm not sure changing is a word, but perhaps not giving boxers as much money for fighting in terms of commission on ticket sales as they have, are now having to change because we force them to by doing what we do. So financially, what we've done is actually helping boxers, because these boxers on the other shows now are going to have to get paid more, because the ones that have been there fighting under the lesser commission deals are now going to be saying, well, the new ones are getting it, we're going to get it. So I think financially we're starting to help. And I think that the things that we're doing, it's up to other people to match what we do. So let's see if other people are going to take their boxers free of charge aboard to training camps now. That's the next challenge we set them. Let's see if they're going to pick somewhere and take their boxers away. All these things are good for boxers, and what we hope is what we do, everybody else comes up and does the same. Because if we can do it, so can everybody else, and hopefully it benefits all the boxers. So I can see it starting, so let's hope that more do it. We're not there to try and wipe everybody out. We're there to help everybody progress, but raise the standards of treatment and the standards of money and the standards of welfare that boxers get.
Okay guys, in the interest of gaining insight into your fighting psyches, all of you, I'd like to ask every fighter assembled here tonight, who is your favourite fighter of all time and why? Starting over there with my men.
You better say bench your favourite.
Yeah. I was going to say who's the best trainer you've ever had. All of you, please.
He drew against Palmer, you know that.
Yeah.
My favourite fighter, it's a hard one, but it's probably between Marvin Hagler and Roberto Duran.
Yep.
But it's simply because of the style. I really enjoy the style. They can box, they can fight, they can do in the back foot, they can do everything. So that's why. I like also I like the personalities as well, like during interviews and outside of the ring, just the way they carry themselves as a whole, like as an actual human being.
Okay, thanks a lot.
I think I'd probably say Floyd Mayweather.
Okay.
Yeah, just because I like the art to it, and the fact that he can win all his fights and get here, just does what he needs to do. He's just smart.
My favourite fighter would be Sugar Ray Robinson, because I like the old school, I like his style, everything about him. He's a great fighter.
I honestly can't think of one. And as soon as you asked it, I was thinking like this guy, that guy, and
Got too many favourites?
I've got so many. There's so many people, so many boxers that have so many different qualities that I appreciate, and I think I like to try and nick a bit of everybody. You know, I think Lennox Lewis came to mind. You know, great guy to watch through the years. So probably go with Lennox, but there's still so many others.
If Olivia and Steve have an opinion, then I'll take that as well.
I have a lot of admiration for Michael Watson because of everything that happened to him and how he's come back and how he is now. So I admire him in terms of life-wise, and in boxing. I grew up, one of my youngest memories is Lennox Lewis. When I went, when I was, oh God, I was so young. I went over to Las Vegas with my family, and my dad went off to watch the fight, and I had to go and watch the Pokemon movie, and that's the day I said, I'll never ever not go to a boxing show with you again. You're never sending me off to watch to the cinema.
Steve, you might as well be in on this.
Nigel Benn, because he was the man that brought excitement back with terrestrial television, and the last time I thought that the figures were great, and I think he was great for boxing.
Mine has to be, actually, there's quite a few, but the top three in my list will be Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Robinson, and Muhammad Ali.
That is the most, he's not only the best dressed man, he's the best man.
Again, yeah, I mean, there's so many fighters. It's tough to pick a favourite. I take inspiration from all fighters that I watch on TV or whatever. I'm a fan of the history of the sport. I love to read about the old fighters that you don't see so many videos of, when they had proper moustaches back in those days. And, But for me, I mean, in my era growing up, you know, I grew up with the Eubanks, the Bens, the Michael Watson. I thought it was a great call. Michael Watson is a fantastic fighter in his day. You know, Prince Nazeem, Tyson, I used to love to watch. But to say one out of everybody, I would probably say Sugar Ray Leonard as well for me. But it's a tough call.
I'm gonna have to say 4. I'm sorry. I'll just have to say we Pep, Aaron Power, James Tony, and let's say Floyd Mayweather, or some say 5. So Floyd Mayweather and let's say James Tony and Costa Zid in their prime. So, yeah.
All right, any other questions from the audience? Want to say something before we end? No? Okay, again, fantastic card, June the 13th. Can't wait for this card. Again, Steve, I don't know how you do it. You just keep getting better and better. I did want to pick you up on one thing. You mentioned just in passing about the training camps. Watching you guys on social media, I think you need an MC to come with you to the next training camp to announce these guys as they jump off the rocks, because that just looked like a fantastic, fantastic training camp. Really well done for you putting those together.
Who is coming to the show? Anyone from here? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people are coming, right? Out of what? Say 20? Really? Come on, guys. Show us some support. We'll fight for you guys. You know, we're here to entertain you. By the way, you know, this is not the only dress you're gonna see about me. You're gonna see a dress to the ring. You know, shorts and the whole robe. You know, made by one of the very, very top designers for me, Nina Nastal. She's a couture designer. You're gonna see the entrance, and it's gonna be amazing. So please do come down and support. If you don't support me, support someone else. Just come and support the sport, support boxing. And you know what? We do it for you, to entertain you guys. So, you know what? I hope we give you what you want.
All right, thanks. Once again, how about a big hand for all of our boxers?